Welcome to the Get Unbusy podcast. I'm your host, Kate Philpott, and this podcast is all about throwing your busy work out the window. You deserve to stay locked in on the parts of your business that light a fire under your hoo-ha, all right? The passion-driven freedom lifestyle, not being glued to your laptop every waking minute of the day. It's time to build a business that works for you, not one that works you into the ground. So, let's get unbusy, shall we? Hello and welcome back to the Get Unbusy podcast. I'm your host, Kate Philpott, and this one's going to be an episode and a half today because I'm joined by the lovely Loni Nelson. Now, before I bring her on, okay, here's a quick overview of who Loni is and what she does and everything. So, Loni helps online entrepreneurs stop duct taping their back end together and start delivering a student experience that feels as good as it looks. Love that. She blends strategy with tech implementation to create onboarding, active student nurture sequences, and offboarding flows that keep students engaged and hitting results and ready to buy again before the next launch even drops. So what a perfect guest to have on the Get Unbusy podcast. And also, Loni was one of our speakers at the Now That's a Membership Summit, and she spoke all about the 4 love languages of student retention, which is a topic I was absolutely obsessed with. Oh my goodness. Like a concept I'd never even considered before. So excited to have Loni here on the podcast. And Loni, it is fantastic to have you. And welcome to the Get Unbusy podcast. How are you doing today?
Oh, thank you, Kate, for having me. There was all these like shoulder shimmies going on with that intro.
Yeah.
It always feels so kind of lovely and also sort of shy having someone else introduce you. It's always reminding you, you're like, oh my gosh, I guess that's me. So thank you so much for having me on. I've been binging all of your episodes, so I feel really comforted kind of having your voice in my ear. It's kind of an odd feeling to say that to you now, but I've very much loved binging all the things, and I'm so excited to come on and talk about all the juicy membership things.
Oh yeah, this one's got to be good. I can feel it in my bones. So, well, let's dive in then. I suppose, okay, for you, you often talk about student experience and like particularly with group offers and group programs. So I really want to know like how this became your thing. Like why this, you know?
Honestly, it started because I was a major people pleaser in programs that I joined. And I think for a lot of people that are in business or become entrepreneurial, we all have our season of people pleasing at some point, so I feel like that's fairly relatable for a lot of us. But wow, we had that journey, we had that chapter. But I always felt like I had to overcompensate. You know, I had to be the vibe and keep the chat alive, show up for every call, and ultimately it led to a lot of burnout. I was on a really long walk on a short pier for that one, and it made me realize that no single student should be responsible for carrying the energy, and that the coach shouldn't have to either. The real win is when the systems of a program hold the vibe for the facilitator, for the students. And I think that's when I really started to dig deeper into student experience. It's not about more content or more hype. It's really about creating the structure so that the energy sustains itself well after, a live launch push or the evergreen funnel is completed. And I think that was how student experience really became my thing. It felt like I needed to redeem all the other people pleasers and other programs that I witnessed. And I'm like, no, I'm coming. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, I know I've definitely been there too. I mean, as you said, super relatable experience. Like I'm relating it back to like, growing up and going to like birthday parties. I was always like, no, I have to be the life of the party. Like, so I can see like there's just a level of like social acceptance that we attach to that. But yeah, that can be a lot on one person in like a group program or what have you. So Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a big onboarding girly, and I don't know why I've always had a soft spot for like a solid onboarding process. Like, I know that makes me sound like such a loser, but like it's just one of those things. I know you're like nodding along. But so this is the thing with bringing a systems girly on the podcast. It's just like we're just bonding.
I got you. I
So
got you.
yeah. So from your perspective, what does a smooth, memorable start to a group program look like, and how does that set the tone for like everything that follows after that?
Yes, well, I love this question. For the people that might not be watching this via video and it's only audio, I wish I could describe all of the facial expressions that just happened through that little snippet, because it was just a lot of nodding and a lot of like, yes. But I love this question because onboarding is my obsession too. And when people buy, they're in what I call the excited buy brain. And the worst thing that you can do is kind of let that excitement cool off before they really ever step in fully as a student. Because for me, a smooth start has 3 must-haves: clear, actionable targets for their time, some form of accountability, and 0 cooling off period. And what that looks like, kind of in tangible terms, is telling them exactly what to do next, giving them a touch point that makes them feel like they're being held to some sort of account in a good way, not a positive way. We're not being mean, we're just giving them some accountability points there. Yeah. And interacting with them right away, whether that is automated or it's a live touch point, because as you said, we're systems girlies here. Automation can be very intentional and awesome. I also want to say when it comes to onboarding, and this was like a really old pattern that I saw in programs. I don't see it as often anymore, but I think it's always worth mentioning, is in your onboarding, don't list your features and benefits again. Like, your students have bought in, they're really excited. Don't give them the A to Z list of where they can go to find stuff. Get really targeted with what your new members need to be doing right as they are onboarding, so that they feel that rush of accomplishment right after they buy. Because they're going to buy, they feel excited about it, they're really looking forward to it. And then if you can give them something that also rewards them, their little monkey brain is going to say, every time I invest in Kate, or every time I invest in so-and-so, or every time I invest in da-da-da-da-da, I feel a rush of accomplishment right after, and I want to keep feeling that feeling. Because when you set that tone, students feel the momentum from day one, and it really carries into everything else. And yeah, I think I get so passionate about behavior cues and understanding and rewarding good behavior. I know that's very like Pavlova's test and ringing bells and things, but I really think positive reinforcement is so cool and can be really intentional and build the kind of experience where people always want to come back to that high and to that momentum again and again.
Yeah. Side note, do you have like a psychology background?
So,
Because I do. I actually went to college for psychology, so I'm like, there's no way we're gonna relate on this. Like, what? As well.
Kind of close. Like, when I went into university, I went in for anthropology. I thought I was going to be kind of like the really cool, consensual Indiana Jones of the modern age. That was my goal. And then I took one sociology class in university and completely changed my major, because I loved the idea of studying groups of people. I am such a people watcher. if that's a skill and a hobby, I'm first in line. So uni kind of took me in that direction of studying people and studying behaviors and understanding how one action led to another and how important interaction is and all of that good stuff. So In a way,
Okay.
yeah. Psychology,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sociology. I love human brains. I think they're kind of awesome.
I know. And just like, because what you were saying there with like the onboarding and like, oh, they get super excited at the beginning and we want to use that like, and like use it not to just our own benefit, but their benefit too. They get a quick win. They get to, and you said something that like they start to associate you with that feeling of like, oh, I accomplished things. And that's when my brain started going down that like, ooh, wait, we're really getting into like the psychology of things here now, because like how incredible to create like an association in your members or client's brain between you and like this incredibly good feeling. Like if we can reverse engineer that, oh, like now we're yeah,
Now we're cooking.
yeah, now we're cooking.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Also, you mentioned there, this was just a little snippet that I was like, ooh, would love to go deeper on this. Like the accountability piece, like building that in like particularly the early stages. And I think sometimes, say membership owners or people running a group program, sometimes they're like, okay, but like if they're not a one-to-one client, how am I creating the accountability if it's like a scalable offer, you know? And like also in my background, like I used to be a personal trainer, so the traditional kind of accountability with clients was, well, they're literally in the gym with me. Like if they don't do the rep, I'm right there with them to see that they
Yeah.
didn't do the rep, you know, like so like when we're all scattered around the globe, it's a different kind of thing. So like do you have any kind of like little, even just like little nuggets about like how to build in that accountability?
Oh my God. I love that question. Thank you for like picking up on that. I think, and this is another one from my people pleasing background, but equally, I'm such a type A. I am heavy, heavy. I love a list. Give me a gosh darn list.
Oh, I
I'll
love
be
a
listing all day
list.
long. And so I was trying to understand how I could not overcompensate, but equally still feel really engaged and that I was getting rewarded for all the effort I was putting into the programs I was getting in. And I recognized that actually what I needed was accountability, and that accountability didn't have to come from closeness or intimacy with the facilitator. It actually just had to be in the clarity of the steps I needed to take. And so accountability for me was building in that measurement of saying, what is the next step I need to do? Not all the steps, but what is the next step I need to do? And if I reach that action or I commit to that action, how then do I get rewarded? And for me, as systems and automations, I'm like, okay, well, there's that bridge. That's how we actually build that association. Say, okay, well, if students, if their first step is to join the community and to post or to join the Slack and introduce themselves, then both as the facilitator, as the coach, as maybe someone with a VA or a small team, we can build in the systems and the automations to say, okay, well, if we see a student do that, how do we reward that? So it reinforces not only that they have accountability and we see them, but that association of, oh, I took that action and they recognized me. Like, how amazing
Yeah.
is that feeling to feel seen so quickly after an investment? And I think that's why accountability and onboarding sets that tone really, really beautifully. So a couple things there of how do you build that system in place? But I think even before you get into implementation, you can really audit your own onboarding by asking, can a student name their first step in under 2 minutes? Like after they buy, do they know what they're doing? And do they feel supported before any like live calls that might happen or touch points? And how does that then keep that buyer energy alive? Because that's like the little sweet spot. That's where we build all those like early recognition behaviors that we want to see throughout the entire time they're in your program or in your membership.
Yeah. Yeah, because like when you join a program or a membership, like you do kind of, I don't know if it's like, oh, this is my dirty little secret. Like, I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but I'm like, ooh, ooh, like, look at me in here doing this thing, and like, nobody knows I'm here yet. It's like, I don't even, you know?
Yes.
So yeah, to be able to kind of build that in a way that's not necessarily like, I have to be so hands on, like, every second of the day. Like,
I think systems have gotten so smart now and really intelligent because not everyone is extroverted. Like, you're gonna have students that come into programs that are like, beep, 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 I'm here, like, bring out like the red carpet, like,
yeah.
I'm ready, I'm gonna post. But you're also going to have your introverts who I love. Like, I think I'm much more extroverted than introverted, and I freaking love building experiences for introverted people because
Yeah.
when you can bring them out and they are projecting in the way that fits them the most, they're actually just like the gems. They're just so beautiful when they say things or when they share things. And it's when you start building touch points for the people that are your star students, but also you're like understanding how they are receptive to rewards. It's just all this really cool stuff. But really, systems are so smart now. Like, you can have polls that are really low lift for people to engage with. You can have email led automations, like all these things that don't have to feel like they add to your calendar to dos. It's just the expectation and the level that you set in a program.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is where we really start to get into, okay, it's not necessarily just about the content. And I think a lot of business owners, like, who run any kind of programs, they do kind of get into, it's all about the content. Like, it's just like it's the natural thing to assume. So it can be very easy to then go into like content overload mode. So I'd love to know your thoughts on, like, how do you actually design a curriculum or an experience that prioritizes that action, like that integration, implementation, and just like more of an experience rather than like, I don't know, here's a bunch of trainings, you know?
Yes, yes. And I think, the interesting thing is as well, like, I think as the internet jungle has kind of matured, as you and I have kind of witnessed it from pre-COVID moving into COVID eras, a lot of programs and memberships were that. They were like the content overload, and you could sell that and you were good. Like, that was okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're now moving into the space of, you know what, everyone and their dog is online now.
Yeah.
The levels just need to be a little bit different, which is good. But honestly, I think content overload in curriculum is really just decision fatigue in disguise, because students don't really join to hoard modules. They join because they want a result, and ultimately they want the result that you marketed. So this is where
Yeah.
your front-facing marketing really kind of shiny, amazing, where your reputation is sort of sown, where all of that has been cultivated. It's where then the back end and your student experience needs to mirror that, needs to beef
Yeah.
up that reputation as well. So when I'm reviewing a curriculum, for instance, like, I don't just ask, is there enough here? I ask, does every single piece of this, whether it's a workbook, if it's a live call, if it's a video lesson, does it actually link back to the bigger result that we're promising? Because it doesn't mean we have to spoon feed our students or hand hold them. It means you need to make the path obvious and reinforcing why each step really matters. Because sometimes the most valuable thing is the most valuable thing you can do is swap an hour-long training for a 10-minute action that directly contributes to their progress. Or you can have integration weeks if you work with people that need more accountability in that sense, or prioritize quality time, or short tangible tasks if you want people that just love words of affirmation and they want to hear that they've won over and over again. All of these things are kind of what create momentum, and it isn't about another bonus lesson just for the sake of it. I think curriculum and content are almost two different things. Your curriculum can be really short, but if it leads people to the result that you're promising, that's amazing. You can add content where it makes sense, and that doesn't necessarily have to be curriculum linked. Like, content can be for students who perform certain behaviors and you want to reward them especially, or other bits and bobs that just feel like they add context to ultimately all the steps that actually make it obvious to where people need to go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and here's the thing, like, I've said multiple times in my spaces, I'm the person, I love being bombarded with content. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. How many books do I have on Audible that I haven't yet read? Probably over 100. Like, how many courses have I signed up to that I haven't yet? But I love the fact that I have access to them, or I love joining memberships and feeling like, ooh, there's so much in here. It's going to take a lifetime to get through it all. I don't know. It's just like, I just tell myself, like, of course I'm going to finish this. Anyway, I genuinely love being bombarded with the content. So I have never fully related to, and like, it's a very common experience, like the overwhelm with it. However, in more recent times, I have been like, oh, I want to watch all this content, but like, I just don't have the capacity. And if you don't have the capacity, then it's like, okay, I did buy in for the result. Like, you're so right. I didn't technically buy in for the 200 hours of content or whatever it is. Like, so yeah, these things are subtle shifts, but it does make a huge impact. And I feel like the reason I'm saying that, relating to my experience of, like, I'm even someone who loves having so much content and still need some guidance on, like, what exact action to take, what exact path I should follow, you know, because when it comes down to it, your girl wants the results. So what do I gotta do? Yeah.
Yes. I am the same. I've got, a TBR list that will never be finished. I have freebies and quizzes and courses, and I love it all. I love, like you say, the access sometimes, and for a lot of people is really reassuring. It kind of reinforces and helps build a confidence to take action, just simply having the access to things. But
true.
I find being in the back end of programs and witnessing students go through programs, some of the top performers are the ones that give you the best testimonials, or the ones that you're like, oh my God, never have to worry about them. Like, they're good. They'll be on every call. Those are also the students that probably are the first ones to say, okay, what do I do next? What am I doing? Like, tell me exactly what I'll do and I'll do it. And it's almost preempting that. It's about building in your proactive steps as you think about your student experience, and kind of just knowing that, is every step obvious? Am I going to eliminate the admin behind the scenes of instructing my students where to go because I proactively built that into my automations, et cetera, et cetera. So I think your content, just remove the decision fatigue and you're a winner.
Yeah. So here's a bit of a sidebar question related to the curriculum and, like, content overload. So if somebody already has a group program and it's like they've run it a couple of times, or, the curriculum's already planned out, and they're hearing this and they're like, oh, I gotta, like, judge things up a little bit, or, like, I gotta, whatever. What are the steps? Like, what would be the first thing, or how could they start building these strategies in?
Okay. First and foremost, please don't blow anything up.
Yeah.
Like, you're good. You know what? Like, you're so good. I think my first step, if you're looking to strengthen your curriculum and just clean it up, the first thing that I would do is actually look back at the feedback or any feedback you've been able to gather from students that have gone through the program, and especially highlight the points of like favorite modules, favorite lessons, and equally any feedback from students where they loved certain aspects. If it was office hours that you offered, or if you had a, quarterly roundup with certain themes, or if you shared a private podcast with people, like however you illustrated your value to your students, if they sent feedback about that or commented about that, start there. Start with those aspects of what your students really loved or what they resonated with, and then line that up with your curriculum and say, okay, is that matching how my students responded best or loved aspects of this experience? If yes, fabulous. Then you're already reinforcing that, and your curriculum is probably much stronger than you're expecting it to be. If parts of your curriculum you think, well, this is really important, but the students didn't mention that, either it was so good and so obvious that it was so good and so obvious they didn't have to mention it, or if you feel like it's time to do an audit, always what I would start with is the simplest low lift, is transcribe that lesson and just take that transcription and turn it into another way for people to absorb that information. Because I can assure you that either the people that are watching your videos or going through a program, like especially if you do a lot of video content, they probably love it all. They probably really do have value and see value from what you've built into your curriculum. So you don't have to create new stuff or redirect your efforts. Use a low lift way to make it accessible in a different format. Written, polls, emails, that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I'm getting all
joy.
like...
There's a lot of joy on your face.
There's so much joy in my face. Okay, because the transcripts these days are like so much more valuable than they used to be because of AI. So you've just like sparked like a little memory for me here. No, it's not really a memory. It's literally happening right now. But with the summit, right? I've put together a transcript for every single presentation, and I also put that transcript into AI and got it to create presentation notes for every single presentation too. So I gave it a certain structure. I was like, right, why is this topic so important for solopreneur membership owners, the ideal attendee of the summit? What are the common mistakes? What are the mic drop moments? What are the core concepts? What are the examples and real world application? And then like, what are the action steps? And like gives a summary as well. Oh, give me reflection questions too. It's just like, so to then have something like that, if I'm watching a training or something like that, I'm like, yes, okay, I hear it. I understand it, but like, how can I make it real in my life? Or like, how can I actually get to the point where it's implemented? Sometimes you need to see things written in a different way, or just having that bit of structure where it's like, these are the mic drop moments, these are the mistakes to avoid, just like certain things. Anyway, that is also a bit of a side tangent, but I just want to allude to that because it's become like, oh, give me a good old transcript, and like you can just use AI in so many ways to just beef it up for yourself. And anyway, back to what you were actually talking about. So I love that you said that it doesn't necessarily have to be blown up, because yeah, a lot of work goes into these programs. Like we're not just saying, oh, you have to just completely, yeah, Lonnie's doing like the big like X emoji person. Something that I really like to do is, so I have like 2 core offers. I've got my membership and I've got an 8-week group program. My group program, I mean, it's 8 weeks. So there's a period in between where I'm not running it actively, and I have like a little refinement period. It's like honestly one of my favorite things ever. I go in, I'm like, let's look at the sales page. Let's look at the tangible deliverables. Like, ooh, like how can I make this easier to implement? Like going in and just like, I'm just a big refinement girly, just like, oh, just let me make it better. Like, so to just build even a snippet or 2 of what you're hearing on this episode into in one of those refinement periods, hey, you don't have to do it all at once. We can come back and we can refine, like you said, get more feedback too. And then, oh, did they enjoy this? Did they completely ignore that? And also, too, the part that you said about like it might just be so good that they just didn't have a comment to make on it. I had an experience recently where I invested in a program, and it was very much an implementation kind of program. And one of the bonuses for signing up during that launch period was it was like office hours, like it was like 2 sections of office hours, like that week and this other week. And it was like a 2 hour long thing. And like, I was like, this program is so comprehensive. I don't have any questions. Like, and I actually went in during the office hours and I was like, hey, it's so good. Like I do not have any questions. Just letting you know. Yep. But also, this is where I'm at, and like if you have any comments. But like I genuinely went in and I was like, because it was so good. But if the office hours weren't there, right, I probably would never have told the host of the program that. So just because there is silence on something doesn't necessarily mean that it's being ignored. It might just be that bloody good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes. And oh my gosh, a tangent moment, because I think
hit me with a tangent.
Kate, we said this before we hit record. This might be a Chatty Cathy episode. But I think there is something to be said about like in refinement periods, that is such a beautiful time, not only for you to reflect as a facilitator what you enjoyed and what you didn't enjoy, because this is your program, like you should design it so that you do enjoy it. Please do so. Oh yeah. But it's also a beautiful time to look at the students that you had, especially your best students. Like, we love all students. Thank you for being here. Thank you for enrolling. Yeah. Thank you for, supporting other people's businesses. Keep doing that. But as a facilitator, we all have our favorites. I've asked every single person I've worked with behind the scenes, like, who are your favorites? Like, I'm sure you had a few. I'm sure you just had some ride or dies. You knew would be on calls. You knew would be busy in Slack. Like, go on. And it's about looking at those people as well and saying, okay, I want more of them. Like, how did I facilitate such an amazing experience for those top performers? And how do I make that recurring? How do I build that into an experience so that when those best students are in my program and they share feedback, it resonates with the exact same type of personality that will also be a top performing student. And again and again and again, this is what we're looking for. Yeah. And so in those refinement periods, it really is about understanding the behavior cues and how people respond to stuff and love what you're doing. And equally, like you say, silence isn't always about the negatives. I think you can probably talk to any therapist, I guess, namely mine in this example. But you can talk to anyone who deals with the communication, who deals with relationships and understanding people. Silence often isn't the absence of positivity. It's often just the acceptance of comfort and feeling as though people can really enjoy the space that they're in and that they have absorbed the information. So in certain circumstances, like the one you shared, having a space where you can say, hey, actually, I am so good right now. Like, you guys are doing a fabulous job. Just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. As a facilitator, what a lovely feeling. Honestly. What a nice opportunity to have those moments. But I think this is also where understanding silence is really cool in your programs, because either silence from your top students probably is just like they're in a work cave and they're doing the do and you're good. Yeah. And silence from students that you should be aware of their behavior, that just leads to a different proactive decision. And data can tell you so much about that too.
Yeah, on the receiving end, or as a facilitator, like, the silence can be loud, but it is good to be aware of the fact that it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, So here's another thing too. So you've built a business where you can work from anywhere. You're in Australia right now, obsessed. And this is a huge driver for me as well in business. Like, I just want to open up the conversation on this. Like, this, oh, for me, this is why I even got into business. Like, from like the selfish points of view, I don't want to be in an office. Okay? Yes, there are like mission critical things, yeah, that I want to be doing, like related to, okay, I teach on productivity. It's about like my Instagram is called More to Life. Literally, the way I teach productivity, it's like you're getting more out of your life. That's a whole thing. But the fact that we nowadays, like, and I can never get over this, but the fact that nowadays we can just have a laptop and I'm talking to you, I'm sitting here in Ireland, you're sitting there in Australia, and we're just chit chatting about memberships and programs and systems and like, and like you're probably gonna go, I don't know, are you gonna like go to the beach after this? Or maybe it's nighttime for you. But like, how cool is it that we can do this? Like,
Yes, yes. I am with you so hardcore. And like working from anywhere is kind of incredible. I think I'm on a year-long trip right now. Like my partner is taking a sabbatical from his work and we are truly doing like our gap year, just kind of like 10 years late, but oh well, we're here.
is there any late though?
I know. Go find yourself. We're very much doing Eat, Pray, Love. We're doing Eat, Pray, Love. It's good. And so we finished 4 months in Canada, we're doing 4 months in Australia, and we're going to do 4 months in New Zealand. And it's been incredible. Yeah, and it's taken a lot of work. Like it was 3 years of probably saving money and being intentional. And I house sit and pet sit as well as a side hustle, so we don't have to pay rent. Like it's a whole other thing. That's a whole other tangent.
Yeah.
But like working from anywhere has been incredible. In this particular trip, weirdly, it's probably not in like the picture perfect way that people often imagine. Honestly, it's brought up some of my old habits of like overcompensating. Because at first, I was cramming work into every possible Wi-Fi window. I was saying yes to so much stuff to try and show that I could do it. Like I could do like the laptop lifestyle. Ooh, look at me on a beach. And I was kind of staying stuck in a really reactive energy. And so the big shift for me, and I don't know why I haven't clocked this because I tell my clients this all the time, but it was kind of realizing that freedom wasn't location based, it was behavior based. I had to slow down. Ooh. Right? Like I had to slow down. I had to start making proactive choices. So instead of reacting to everything in real time, I look at the data. And sometimes the data is health related. Sometimes the data is capacity related. In programs and in being a facilitator, a lot of your data can be cold, hard numbers and open rates and how many people watched a lesson. And it's a little bit easier to take advantage of that data. Yeah. But you can look at it and you can tweak behaviors and guide your decisions from that. And that's what's actually given me a lot of space to enjoy what we're doing and the lifestyle that I wanted in the first place. Because, yeah, it's really about questioning what's the one thing I could do each week that's proactive and not reactive. And that not only has kind of surfaced for my own nervous system. Amen. Thank the gods above, my God, I needed it. But it's kind of then rippled into my work a lot more. I've been a lot more interested in looking back at what I've done with clients and saying to them, hey, can I go back in? Like, I want to have another retro and have another time to review this performance, because it is important to be reflective and proactive. And sometimes that's not sparkly or Bali babe energy. It is purely, I have been wrecking my nervous system. I need to take a step. I need to just regroup. And like you said, you kind of notice that too, like working remotely sounds glamorous, but it actually forces you to rethink how you structure your business. And honestly, that's why I love like I said, I binged so many of your episodes. I've been listening to you, and I was just like, oh, Kate is right. Oh my goodness, I need to focus in on what's really going on and what's really important.
Yeah. Okay. So this is I'm obsessed with this conversation. Oh my God. Okay. So when I went to Australia in 2019 and I spent the year there, I do look back on that time, and I'm not someone who lives with regrets. I mean, whatever I did at the time was right at the time. But did I work more than I would have liked to? And did I sacrifice more of my experiencing hours in Australia to just be working because I had goals and stuff? Yeah. Like I do look back and I'm like, I had 1 year of a visa and I did spend a lot of it working. And but the fact that you said like freedom isn't location based, it's behavior based like that. And you heard my reaction there. I was like, ooh, like, because ooh, it's like
Yeah.
seriously, that is so, so true. I think I'm gonna take that forward with me on any of those kind of work like workation-y type trips. Like I like basically every year since I've been with my partner, we've been together like 3.5 years, we go to Spain for a month, just like to work remotely there. The first year he had a different job and just managed to get the month off. Don't even ask me how he managed that. But anyway, but like we could easily go and be like, right, let's do our normal work day and like work, whatever, like a full work day. Say it's a 9 to 5, and then miss out on a lot of the day, and then we only get to really talk to each other in the evenings or at the weekends. And but like, we did come here to experience life here, so let's bring some intention to this. Like, let's make sure that we're designing it in a way that we come back and we're like, that was dream life status. Because dream life doesn't necessarily have to be, like you said, like literally taking my laptop to the beach, or like I'm on a jet ski every day. Like, but you know what I mean? It's like it's just bringing that intention in and designing your life how you want. I think sometimes I feel a little like guilty talking about my workations in Spain where I go for a whole month. And whenever I say it to anybody in, real life, they're like, "Oh, I'm so jealous like that you get to just do that." And I'm like, but I did design my life in this way. Like, I know there are some privileges, but I have taken intentional steps to be able to do this because that's how I see my dream life being, you know?
100%. I love that you shared that because one of my clients, she lives in Sweden. She's just this gorgeous witchy woman, and she's a witch. But in Sweden they have really cool holiday times, and her partner every summer they take almost 2 months off. And so, like normal, we've been working for a couple of years, so she said, hey, these are my summer holidays, like you guys have a blast. And it was just myself and our other team member, and we just ran it while she was gone. But
Cool.
that was so much fun and wicked because I could kind of just have a great time and run around in the email sequences and do what I wanted. But
Yeah.
it was kind of one of those. It was one of those things where even that freedom, that level of liberty, and just doing what she wanted, that took planning, that took discussion, that took understanding how her programs operated and what sort of behavior we needed to continue to reinforce while she was away. And another client as well went away for two weeks, and both of her programs are 8 weeks and one's a 12-month thing, and but there's live calls and what was she going to do, and so we kind of did an away sprint with her, and even during that, like, it was curated and she knew what was happening and everything was pre-scheduled, and there was a lot of things that were put in place so that she knew it didn't matter where she was. It wasn't about location, but she knew that behaviors were being reinforced and they were being rewarded, and students were being guided still, even if her live presence wasn't there at the time. And I think that's like the true testament to how you build things and how you design stuff, because you can design it. That doesn't mean the effort or the work, the sacrifices you put in before that wasn't sweat inducing. Most of the time it is, even more so than the actual time you're away. Like, oh my gosh.
It's not just about booking flights.
No. Like, and I think that's kind of a conversation, and I'm really happy it came up a little bit more in our conversation, because I think it's a topic for online business owners, and maybe like more so women in business too, that actually, like, we try and curate rest as still being this really productive, orchestrated thing, but
I know.
Oftentimes, like, our rest is so messy, and we have to work so hard at not working, because for some of us it's really fulfilling still, and we do like our work because we've curated it. We like what we do, but rest is actually something that can be implemented behind the scenes to facilitate something a lot more tangible, like living. Funnily enough, that's why we're kind of on this rock. But if we're going to get way too meta if I go too much further, Kate.
I know. I know. No, but seriously. But seriously.
But also seriously.
And I feel like almost wish that came up earlier, because I could actually go into that for the foreseeable future with you. Like, we could go places with that. But hey,
we can do a part 2. Yeah.
we could do a part 2 for sure. That's a great place to wrap it up though, because I feel like we've gone from like the strategic of onboarding and member experience, client experience, like all the way to like the meaning of life. So like we're leaving it up in like a great place here, you know?
Yeah.
So you were one of our speakers, Loni, at the Now That's a Membership Summit. So other than that, where can the lovely people find out more about what you do and get into your world?
Fabulous. Well, if you've enjoyed this conversation and more or less the flow of strategic into life meaning, the best step to get more of that is to come chat with me in my inbox. That is basically what I do. So I send out a newsletter called The Back End, and yes, it does include a peach emoji just for the giggles. That's really where I share all the bite-sized, I know, right? It's good. I share all the bite-sized kind of insights on student experience, retention, all the behind-the-scenes strategies that kind of keep group programs running smoothly. And if you want something super tangible, I've created a free student retention map that shows you how to apply the 4 student retention love languages in your own program. I know that Kate mentioned that a little bit earlier, so we can dive into that a bit more together. So that's just a really quick, practical way to start spotting where your students need more support and how to keep them engaged for the long run. So either subscribe to the back end or grab the student retention map. Both are easy entry points, and will give you the tools to turn your programs into the ones students rave about.
Amazing. Okay, well, Loni, thank you so much. This has been such a fun conversation. I've enjoyed every second, and also will probably be going back and taking notes. So thank you for just dropping the value bombs there. I will have all of those bits and bobs linked in the show notes below. And for those of you listening, I will see you next Wednesday. And go have a wonderful week, and make sure you're subscribed to the Get Unbusy podcast in wherever you listen to your podcasts, and follow at More to Life Kate on Instagram. All right, I'll check you out next week. Take care. See ya. All right, gorgeous. That's a wrap on today's episode of the Get Unbusy podcast. If you got some juicy golden nuggets from this episode, I want to hear about it. So take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at More to Life Kate, because your girl wants to know. And remember, you're an absolute powerhouse. You can create the life you've been dreaming of, and I can't wait to see you pop off. Chat to you soon. Bye.